So hi everyone, good morning all. So we are going to start new batch on Spring Security, as you know very well. So day one is done already. The link is available here. This is the day one Spring Security course. Here we discussed about completely course content and as well as what is Spring Security, why Spring Security, authentication and authorization, just terminologies we discussed as part of the day one session. Today is the continuation session for the day two. Okay, so the main goal of introduction to the Spring Security. Okay, we'll create a simple Spring Boot application without security and how to secure your application by using the default implementation, how to configure the static credentials, and the what is the flow diagram. We are going to discuss about this module in today's session, guys. Okay, so still if you are not yet watched, please go ahead and watch. Recommend to watch day one first, guys. Even though course content, small basics also there. Don't miss this session. Okay, this is a continuation session. Okay, let me open the PPT here. Okay, now in the day one we discussed completely why Spring Security, what Spring Security can do, what is authentication and what is authorization. Only these things fundamentals just we discussed here. Today I'm going to implement Spring basic security for our applications. How to implement here? We are using Spring Security 6. If you are using Spring Boot 3, means by default Spring Security 6, everything changed from Spring Boot 2 to Spring Boot 3 in terms of implementation of security, guys. In the Google, whenever you see a lot of old articles, you are able to see this is completely new development here, guys. Please make sure you also follow the day-to-day practice for the Spring Security here, guys. Okay, now as part of our development, okay, till now we are using STS in our local system. Even even you can use for the IntelliJ as well, guys. Okay, so IntelliJ is the best option in the real time. Whenever you are working, people will recommend to use IntelliJ. But you will not get auto suggestions in a .yml file. So we will consolidate that approach, so no issues that one. So if you are a first time you are using STS, you know how to create a application, how to open. Okay, you can do that as well. Now see, first let me demonstrate you with you environment setup. So let me create a folder for you. Just I am creating Spring tool suite. If you are not at install, please go ahead and install Spring tool suite. Let me open. I want to create a workspace and then I want to create a fresh project. The project creation I'm explaining with the help of STS. Why? Because if you're using IntelliJ as well, project creation is not applicable. So that's why I'm going for here. Just I want to demonstrate you both to you guys. Okay, let me open. Okay, now the first concept called basic security. By default, Spring Security is providing basic security for our application. That means each and every request is secured. Okay, now if you want to get that implementation in our pom.xml file, we should add one starter called Spring Boot Starter Security class. After adding this module, okay, you can able to see in the console random generated password as well, guys. Okay, this is a, if you want to implement security in our use cases, this is the main. Okay, let me use the browse option and you can choose 03. Here I want to create a workspace. 03 security underscore workspace. I'm creating a folder for you. Every day I will try to create projects in this workspace only. Let me launch it. Okay, who are using IntelliJ? Okay, if you are not interested to use Spring toolsuit, first we need to create a project here. Okay, the project creation you can do with the help of the Spring initializer here. Okay, now see, I want to choose a Maven project, Java, and 3.1.11 I am using. So this is the stable version. Okay, so that everyone are recommend to use only this version. Don't use the latest versions. It may have some deprecated features, it may have a new features are adding. Till now everything is a stable. I feel recommend 3.1.11 you can use whenever you are creating the projects. Okay, now here you can provide the group id com.java express. Now this is the project name. I follow a naming convention. Okay, so zero see hyphen sb hyphen, okay, je hyphen hello old, something, some kind of a normal Spring Boot application how we are going to start that way. Or instead of the hello world, let me provide as a default security. This is my project name here. Please make sure group id and artifact both should be used. I am using minimum Java version, Java 17 is required here, guys. Please make sure whenever you are creating the projects, make sure Java 17 is required. Here on the right hand side we have a dependencies option. If you want to develop your application, you have to deploy into a web, we need a web module. Okay, and you need what are the dependencies. Whenever you are using any Pojo classes, Lombok integration. Okay, now you need as a security dependency. See here, Spring security, auth to client, auth to resource server, Okta authorization, Spring. Lot of things are available as of now. Highly customizable authentication and access control framework for Spring applications. This is the first module we are going to discuss. Now click on the generate option. It will download as a project here, guys. See, project is downloaded. Okay, now let me open this one. Okay, so once you downloaded this project, immediately right click, copy, and keep into your wherever your workspace is created, 03 Spring Security workspace, you can keep it here. Okay, why I'm doing means, who are using IntelliJ, for them you need to follow these steps. If you are using STS, directly you can create the project in STS tool itself only. Okay, I recommend to use IntelliJ, guys. Okay, now right click. This is the only first time activity here. You can do I am unzipping, extracting here. See, now this is our project, fresh project. Okay, let me delete the this folder. Okay, now let me open both ways to you so that it will be easy for you. Okay, file. Okay, import the project in STS. How you can import the project? Existing Maven project, choose the next option, browse. This is the project, choose, select folder, and click finish. Okay, now your project is going to import into our STS IDE itself. Okay, now this is the where you can do in STS itself. Okay, the same pattern. Okay, okay, our package names we given. Okay, we given as a correct everything. Oh, we given as a wrong package name. Okay, we'll rename it accordingly, so don't worry. This is for your STS. Okay, if I want to use IntelliJ, okay, let me open some IntelliJ. Once you install your IntelliJ, it is a not a trial version. This is a community edition. You can use a long time, no issue. If you are using ultimate edition, only 30 days is free for IntelliJ, guys. Okay, if I open already, it's a open it. Let me open some random project, or you can, okay, and then we'll try to import our project here, guys. Okay, inside the file option, open, you have an option here. You can provide your workspace, F drive, 03 security workspace. Click this option. Trust the project. This window. Okay. Here, first time if you do this activity, this project will not convert into a Maven project. Make sure, okay, right click on the project, okay, click on pom.xml, add as a Maven project. Then your application will be loaded. In terms of running the application, changing the configuration, debugging the application, okay, it will be a fast in IntelliJ IDE, guys. So that's why I recommend to use everyone now onwards, okay, IntelliJ in your local system. Even if you are not yet used it till now, try to start using IntelliJ in your local system. Is any questions here in terms of IDE setup?
So when you're importing in STS, you imported the project what you copied, but
Maven project.
no,
File,
no,
import, choose here type Maven, existing Maven project. If it is a Gradle project.
no, no.
If it is
My
an, yeah, please go ahead. Not audible, Krishna.
now when you're importing Maven, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, tell me.
No. Oh, okay. When you imported the Maven project, you imported the folder that you copied, right? But whereas
Yes,
in STS, you went one step, the upper.
yes, correct. That is the difference here. Why? Because whole folder workspace I'm importing here. Why? Because STS workspace is already created for you. Am I correct? Whenever
Okay.
first time when you are creating workspace, I'm choosing, even if in my local system IntelliJ is already configured, so in your use case you can use a root project, you can choose, no issues at all the projects you will get imported.
Okay.
Okay, only one
Okay.
time set up this activity, guys, not every day.
Okay.
Yeah. Others clear?
So for IntelliJ, just we have to import as a Maven project. That's it, right?
That's it. Not Maven. There is no option like that. Whole folder you need to choose like this. Then what will happen inside this workspace? What are the projects are available? Everything will be imported here. After importing, by default, it will now take as a Maven. Manually, you need to do right click and add as a Maven project. Then it will be converting as a Maven project for you. All the you can able to build the application, all the things, plugins, everything you will get it here. I can generate a jar file directly here. Jar is jar file. All the ID it is providing to you. But STS, it is not the use case. It's a different. See, if you are going IntelliJ file, you cannot create as a Spring Starter project. That is a community edition. But whereas in your STS, you can create. See here, highly file, new Spring Starter project. This option will not available in IntelliJ. So that's why every time we need to download from browser and I need to import. See here, you can provide a name, type Maven version, and all the options you will get it here. Clear? Environment setup. Any questions? Any confusion? Yes, no?
What are the dependencies we need to add? Web security and Lombok. That's it, na?
Yeah, that's it. Only two dependencies: Starter security, Web Starter, Lombok.
Okay, thank you.
This is used for to deploy your application into a Tomcat. This is used for to get default security functionalities. Lombok is used to avoid boilerplate code in the Pojo classes. By default, unit to write unit test cases, JUnit or Mockito starter test, Spring security classes. By default, these two dependencies will added automatically. So as a programmer, you need to add these 3 dependencies for the first time. Make sense? Any question? Please confirm. Others, everyone in the same state? Okay, good. Let me close everything. Now, just I want to run this application. Okay, instead of before running, see, Java, I want to change my package name. So see, right click on the folder package name, rename here. Okay, all directories I want to use com.java express. This is my package name I want to use. See, your package name is renamed. Here I want to create another package, controller. Okay, here to demonstrate for you, I want to create a classes called hello controller. Okay, here three types of APIs I want to develop here. Okay, now first API is called of a public facing. Okay, public string. Okay, get hello. Okay, now see here guys, 3 methods are available. I am a public user, I am a normal user, I am a admin user. Okay, for these mappings I want to provide, I'm not explaining what is a REST API, everything you know, everyone, all these things. Oh, the main theme is security, right? Now whenever I want to access this API, I can use as a public API. Okay, anyone can access. Public means anyone can access. Okay, now here same thing, I'm using get mapping. Here I want to use as a normal user, or I can say normal endpoint. You can do that. Sorry, not getter method, it's a get mapping. Same thing for admin, I want to use as a admin. Total how many URLs we have guys? HTTP, localhost, okay, port number 8080 slash public. This is the first endpoint. Let me go to our notepad file. Okay, second, third endpoint. This is the minimum basic things before starting our security guys, so that's why. Okay, this is a normal user, this is a admin user. Tell me in the real time who can access whom? Who can access this URL?
Everyone.
Okay, what about this one?
Specific employees.
Okay, what about this one?
But only the administrator.
Only admin people only.
Only admin team can access. This
Or
is user can access. Right now, high level I'm accessing all, everyone. There is, do I need authentication for this one?
No.
not required.
Okay, no authentication. Okay, now here authentication is required.
User
Yes.
of user.
Authentication here,
Also required.
authentication required. Authentication and
Authorization.
authorization. Okay, first we'll try to discuss about authentication. Slowly we are going to add authorization slowly later on time.
Sorry, quick question. Did you type all those 3 methods, or is it like
No, for me auto suggested, so a different plugin we are using.
okay.
So that's
Okay.
fine. Why? Because a
Okay.
normal code, I don't want to type each and it's just normal basic things, right? So that's
Even for us it will come, or
no,
it is only for you?
you will not get,
Okay, okay.
yeah.
May
Okay.
you know how to install that auto suggestion?
No, that is a GitHub Copilot. That is.
Okay.
That is a paid version. It's a chargeable for monthly basis. So okay. So this is you get received all the methods here. Now hello controller is dumped. Now just I want to run my Spring Boot application here. It will ask you to enable Lombok. As of now in our project, Lombok is not using. Slowly we will be used later on time. Let me run this application. Okay, now if you're able to see, our application is started guys. Tomcat is initialized on port number 8080, starting the service as a Tomcat. It is IOC container is initialized, and if you're able to see, What is the configuration class it is using? User detail service auto configuration class. It is generating one random security password to you guys. Random password security. In this class, a random password is generated. See, this
So
password.
user details configuration is inbuilt class.
Let me complete. Then you can ask your questions. Okay. Whenever you start our Spring Boot application, okay, so by default one auto configuration is enabled, you know very well about. Whenever you are adding a starter, immediately one random password is generated, and default there is a default username is user here. That is a default, it's a static data. But whenever you restart the application, every time password will be generated. So by using these credentials, I can able to log in, form login, and basic authentication. Basic authentication means we can do in the Postman. The form login means you can do in the browser as well. This is the browser, and basic authentication you can do in the browser and Postman as well. Now this is the main. We are not discussing any UI based security, not login, everything from the Postman, how to provide security, token based system, microservices security, everything we are going to perform from the Postman. Initially we are going to start basic authentication, where I should provide the username and password here. Now just have a look here. Now I want to access, first I will want to access from the browser, that is a form login. Go to the browser. Okay, I want to hit an API. What is the API? 8080 slash public. Enter. See, a default login page is displayed. That is a Spring Security form login based system. Okay, now here I want to provide password as user, and if I'm giving a wrong password, okay, now in this browser, right click, inspect. Okay, there is option called network here. Okay, now let me maximize, click on sign in. Now see, bad credentials in the backend, you are able to see some APIs are invoked here. See here, HTTP login get 200 succeeded. Some, this is everything taken care by our Spring Security internally here. We are not taking. See here, one a login API post request 302 found, redirectional. In that case, we will use 302 status code. 300 status codes you will never see in the Postman. It will happen in the, when you are using in the browser. Redirection happen whenever you given the wrong credentials, a redirection happen. For redirectional purposes, 300 status codes you will get. Right now see 302. Now this is the payload we are sending. Are able to observe, guys? See here, this is the payload data in the browser, whatever I am sending. This is our, see, username is user, password some, see, this is the password. It is, and CSRF by default it will add some token and it will be do some doing, that's fine. Now let me provide the correct credentials. User, let me clear the screen and go to our browser here. Now let me copy the password. This is my password. Copy and provide and click sign in option. See here. Now post request. See, public get okay. Now you are able to access your API. Now see, I am a public user. Now you can able one time whenever you are login. Okay, one session ID will be generated in the background. Okay, now maybe we can able to see somewhere in the application. Let me show you. One token will be generated somewhere, it will be stored in the some cookies. See here, internally what's happening, just I'm explaining to you guys. Whenever you hit an API, any API, are able to see one J session ID is generated, session generated. If I remove this session ID, delete, deleted. If you refresh, see again login page is, this is a random generated ID. That logged in user session ID will be updated later on time. See here, again I want to log in user, paste, sign in. See, a new ID is generated. So whenever you hit an API in the browser, one session ID will be generated. If you close the browser, the session ID will be deleted automatically. Until this session is alive in the browser, you can access all the APIs. Now see here, I want to access another API, normal user. It's a normal user. See, I can access. I want to access admin user. See, all the users I can access. Immediately, if you delete this session ID, your session will be expired. If you want to log out explicitly, see here, we have an option called here, logout. See, are you sure you want to log out? Click on the logout here. And if you refresh this one, you cannot. Everywhere a login page will be displaying. This is called form based authentication in the browser. By default, when you add as a Spring Starter module in pom.xml, these two authentications are enabled. One for the form login, another for the basic authentication. How to perform in the Postman? Okay, let me open the Postman. Okay, here I want to create a project. Okay, blank collection. Okay, let me provide some name, 03-security. Okay, here I want to make a API call. Okay, now this is for a public. Okay, now HTTP localhost, instead of register I want to use as a public. Okay, hit this API. 401. Tell me, whenever authentication issue happen, what is the status code I will get it? Error scenarios. Tell me guys, error status codes. 401 means unauthorized. Okay, 403 means forbidden. You don't have a specific access. This is called your authentication. This is called for the authorization. Now in the Postman, now I'm getting 401 authentication issue. All the APIs you will get it. Now see here, right click, let me make a duplicate, and again I want to make a duplicate. Duplicate. Okay, instead of here public, okay, I want to use as a normal user. Send it here. See, 401, this is a normal user. Now go to your another one called admin. By default, your security is enabled for all the URLs. Now that is, next is the customization will come to the picture. Okay, now to access this API, okay, for all the APIs, if you want to access, we have an option called, see here, authorization tab. Inside an authorization tab, we have a type. See, we have a basic authentication, later on time JW2 bearer. Okay, slowly we are going to discuss what to, all these security types we are going to discuss. Right now let me provide basic authentication here. Now here I need to provide user as a user and a password. Okay, now random generated password I need to keep it in the browser, sorry, in the Postman. Now let me copy, and whenever you restart your application, always this password is generated here. It is not a permanent password. Now send it here. See, 200. Okay, now whenever you made here your option, you will see there is a cookies. Are able to see one session ID is generated here. See, session ID is generated here. See, this is the session ID. In the browser, you see, right? This is the session ID. Now, if you want to hit everywhere, you hit this API. Unauthorized. Why? Because in the authorization session, I don't have a basic authentication. Just hit this API. You can able to hit all the APIs here. For every time I am providing my basic authentication for each and every API into our controller here. This is for the basic security here. That is a default functionality of the security module here. Now that is the one security dependency we added in our pom.xml file. Okay, we're going to discuss slowly about these two classes. First, are you guys clear about the main functionalities? Yes.
Yeah. For public API, we have not provided user password. Am I right?
See, what is the default implementation of starter security module? Default functionality, all the APIs by default is secured. Am I correct or not?
Yes. Yes.
Now, if it is a public, I need to allow. If it is a normal, I should allow. If it is a admin, I should allow authentication and other. That is called customization. Slowly, we are going to discuss those modules as well.
So every API need a user ID password, right?
Exactly.
But
correct. Public
but
is not required.
there. Okay. Can you show once again for the public?
See here, even public also should provide username and password. Why? Because that is a default functionality of your security. To avoid this one, that is called customization. We need to do that customization later on time. That is our own APIs, right? Public, normal, we created. But how Spring Security know that is a public? Spring Security module don't know, right? Whether it is a public user or normal or admin. We should give instructions to your security class. Then it will do their operations.
Does that J session ID remain same between the browsers? Like let's suppose one time I open in Google Chrome again.
Every time it will be new J session ID will be created. If you are opening another Google Chrome with incognito window, another session ID will be created. Wherever you are logged in, one session ID will be generated.
That would be constant throughout we log out until we log out.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Explicitly, if you delete, then again new ID will be generated. Whenever you talk about JWT token, then this is session ID not applicable here. It can be a stateless. We will not depend on the session ID. Only we will depend on the token. Slowly, anyway, advanced concepts we are going to discuss. That is fine. Are we good?
Is the J session ID is enforced by the API
Spring
or
security.
is it?
Spring security.
Oh.
Bhaskar, we are using 3 services. J section ID 3 is created. Only one is created.
For public, one session ID is generated. Here also generated. Here also generated. Why? Because when you are hitting this API, it needs a session ID, correct?
Yeah,
It's a basic authentication. Each and every URL we are hitting. But in the browser, it is a common. It is available in the cookies only, but it will be used internally, this cookie only. If it is not available, again it will recreate. See? Again it will be recreate your new session ID here.
So Bhaskar, suppose if there is public API, so can I do without user ID password? Can I access in that API? Do you have such a type of mechanism?
That's why I'm asking now. So that is called customization. Right now I'm not doing customization. Still second step, third step is pending to do that customization. Only first step I'm explaining, default security. That's why our project name, what is that one? Tell me guys. What is my project name? Default security. That means once you added pom.xml, all the functionalities came to the picture. Now If you want to do customization, ignore about the flow. This flow diagram later on time will explain to you, not now. Once I completed Spring Security module 1, module 2, module 3, then you can able to understand the security flow, not right now. Ignore about this flow diagram. First, see here, customization will come to the picture now. Okay, remember here, see, we have a method called, okay, we have a method, no, whatever Spring Security is doing internally, this piece of code is using here. This is called default security configurations here. How to use in your project. Then on top of that, I will explain customization now. See here, authenticated. This method means username, password you should provide each and every URL. Then by default, all the URLs are authenticated. That means it may public URL, normal URL, admin URL, support, anything that is called default. This is nothing but, see here, this is Spring Security 3, completely designed based on the functional programming lambdas only, guys. Java 8. If you don't know Java 8, understanding Spring Security is difficult. The minimum prerequisite is Spring Boot and Java 8 here. If you see, in Spring Boot 3 onwards, we should create an object called security filter chain object I need to create. Okay, here one parameter is expecting HTTP security here. Inside in HTTP security, whenever you are hit an API from the postman, we have a method called authorize HTTP request. This is a lambda expression. See, this is a lambda expression. Here, tell me guys, this is which design pattern it is using? Whatever I'm highlighting, which design pattern?
Builder pattern.
Builder design pattern it is using internally. Wherever you see dot build, it is using builder design pattern. Now tell me, whenever you are adding default security, are you able to access postman and browser or not? Tell me.
Yes.
Tell me. Now,
Yes.
browser you are accessing means that is called form login. If
Okay.
you are accessing in the postman means basic login, HTTP basic authentication. Here the important point, customizer dot with default. By default, Spring Boot is giving this. This is called a static class. This is a method. Okay, this is a default properties invoked by your Spring Security for all the classes throughout the project. You will able to see this is a fixed here, guys, for our development, not form. Basic here, customizer dot with default properties at application starting, it will be used. Now our customization, see, request, it's a lambda expression. Remember, carefully observe here, request dot a method called any request. It can be a public, it can be a normal, it can be a user, it can be a support, any request. What is the method we are calling? Authenticated. If authentication is a failure, you will get 401. If it is a success, you will get 200. Throughout our application, these three status codes only we will be discussed mostly throughout all the applications: 403, 401, 200. These three things, this is the authenticate. Internally, your Spring Boot is using this logic here. How to write this logic can we do now? Tell me guys.
Why not boss?
Okay, this is a authenticated method. Now let me go for the next slide. See here, permit all. Permit means this method allows public access to the matched endpoints. In other words, anyone can access if you written method called permit all. Instead of okay, sorry, let me take a pointer. Instead of authenticated, permit all. Now, if I given permit all, do I need to provide username and password in the postman?
I think so, not required.
Not required, correct. If it is a authenticated, do I need to provide or not?
Yes, we should.
We need. Now the point is any request, there is no matching pattern right now. This is the importance of permit all. Remember, two methods we discussed till now: authenticated, permit all. Now next one called authenticated and permit all. Now see here, customization will come to the under the request. We have a method called request matchers. We have one method is available here. If starting with normal or admin, I want to make authenticated. If it is a public, I want to permit all. Now tell me, for authenticated, do I need to provide username and password for these two URLs or not? Tell me,
Yes.
guys.
Yes.
For public, do I need to provide username and password?
Not required.
Not required. Yes. See, this is about the configuration for your default Spring security filter chain. Am I clear? Any questions?
One question, Bhaskar, from here.
Yes.
The request is there, right? Request parameter. How it's coming for that? Any class imported for at the time? HTTP security.
HTTP security. This is class loaded by your Spring security.
Mhm.
That is, I will show you how to create this class, how to keep this data.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if you go to the official documentation, suppose Spring security here, just I'm typing Spring security. I will visit official website, spring.io projects, click this option. Okay. Now 6.2.4 Spring security internally using this is security version. There is an option called learn here. See, we have a lot of versions are available. Click on the reference doc. We have a API doc, two docs we have, page not found. Okay, Spring. See here, this is our Spring security official website here. Okay, here getting Spring security, left hand side, click this option. See here, this is a starter we are using in our project. Internally it is using this Spring Boot version. This is your Spring version. Okay, Maven without Spring Boot. Okay, without Spring Boot, this is some dependency bomb. You can ignore right now. Starters are sufficient. This is a repos. This is a Gradle. If you are going ahead with Gradle, this is the version. This is just dependencies here. That's it. This is for the started. Let me click on the features. Click on the authentication. Okay, let me click on 6.2. Let me show you some classes. Where it is there? Every time it is, this documentation is keep on updating. Half of the time we are navigating samples. We'll see in the left hand side. No, this is a GitHub. Servlet applications. Okay, go to authentication, username, password. Yes. So this is the website. Let me keep it with you. I will give this link to you guys. Okay. See here, the first authentication, one of the most common way to authenticate a user by validating a username and password. Spring security providing comprehensive support for authenticating with username and password here. You can configure username and password using the following here. See, at the rate configuration annotation, you need to enable the web security. Here, you need to create, this is your bean object. Are able to see here? Spring official documentation is given. This is a Java and XML, and this is a Kotlin programming language. Anyway, we are using Java. Now copy and go ahead and create a fresh project. So let me close everything. Here, what I am doing is right click, copy, and let me see, let me paste it here where I'm able to paste it. Let me provide 01. Okay. Whether I'm yes, I mean in the second project I have, see 01 I'm changing. Whenever you done copy paste, please make sure in pom.xml change your artifact ID so that there is no issues will be there, guys. Why? Because a different project. Okay, now what I am doing, I am creating a package, right click. Okay, see, whenever you copied this project, there is no blue color icon. Are able to see, guys? Observe here a blue icon, because of we should add as a Maven project. Right click, add as a Maven project. Now blue color highlight will come, all your classes, everything will be loaded by your application here. Let me stop this application. Okay, now go to main com dot. Here I want to create as a package. What kind of package? A config package. Okay, now right click, new. I want to create as a class app security. I want to create as a class here. Okay, what are the annotations I want to use? At the rate configuration, at the rate enable web secure, these two classes. Now go to the browser. Now as it is, copy this object, copy, paste it. See, now import your statements. Now it is available in the bean class, the filter class. Now this is a HTTP class. Now this is your customization class. Now see all the import statements. Config, under security module, under config module, we have a customizer, HTTP security, enable web security, and filter. All these 4 import statements are part of security module. Bean and configuration in the context module, Spring main module. This is part of your security module. Now see, authorize any request authenticated here. Okay, now what I can do, I want to change in this approach here, request matchers. See here. Okay, instead of any request, here I can use as a request matchers here. Now let me provide slash admin slash normal. This is one. As it is a copy, paste, and here a public. Instead of authenticated, I want to make it as a permit on. That's it. Now, is it clear, this piece of code? Any doubt?
One question, like when we start
one by one. Yes.
Yeah. So when at the starting we have not implemented this class.
Yes, correct.
Initially.
Yes.
So at that time, which class it called default internal class?
This is the configuration. It is loading internally.
Okay.
This is the by default. It will be load this configuration.
Yeah,
now,
that's why for public also it was trying to
exactly
because there is
authenticated method. See, this is the code. Now I am customizing this class now by using request matchers. I am providing here. And one more point, remember, whatever you are performing, only get operations will work. If it is a post, there is one attribute CQRS we should be disabled. Later on time when you do registration, then I will explain that concept. Right now, this is sufficient. Right now. Yes, others.
Bhaskar, there we had to took the request, but we had took the authorization from here. But it's a signature, under that signature is a method. The implementation is different. Can you show?
Which one?
Screenshot. Here HTTP authorization request. HTTP dot authorization request. Request like
see
this.
Lambda expression. You can use any variable here.
Okay.
Which variable you are using? Hope you should be aware Java 8, correct?
Yeah.
You can use any variable here. This is a official documentation is using authorize is a variable name. Here you can use any name as well. Okay. Here another bracket is there. Even you can avoid this bracket as well. No problem. It's a lambda, right?
Yes.
Bhaskar, someone asked this question. That request matches admin, normal, and public is a default method if you don't implement this app security or Java.
Sorry, I didn't get your question.
If you don't implement this app security.java, there is this.
It is a default implementation, correct?
Okay, that means it is admin, normal, and public. As if we put that public
Again,
also in.
yes, correct. All the endpoints, not only admin, normal, public. If you have a 10 controllers, all the APIs is secured with authenticated method. That is called default functionality.
Okay.
Now, on top of that, I am overriding the security.
Okay.
Okay. Now, let me quick start this application and we'll see Spring Boot application. Guys, Spring Security, if you miss one class, next session you will not understand. Please make sure if you are attending live classes, please make sure attend every day. Okay.
The initial challenge will be using this ID.
Sorry.
The initial challenge would be the ID. We are
Correct.
used to that.
Why that given that complex team is real time, we will use this IntelliJ only. We will never use STS. That's why I recommended to use this tool, so that for practicing also, at least you will spend time and you will be use this tool. Okay. If you are not comfortable, STS is direct option. You have directly, you can create the project. Now you know how to use Spring tool.
It's a better, IntelliJ is better compared to STS.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, you guys are prefer the IntelliJ if it take time.
Yeah.
Okay.
See guys, use generated security password is generated. Now password is generated. Copy. Now go to the browser. Okay. Public. I don't want to provide any authentication. Inherit default one. Send this option. I am a public user. Go to normal. Normally, if you hit this API 401 unauthorized, instead of this password, let me provide the normal password. Send. I'm a normal user. Okay. Now it is a admin. Let me change this URL with admin. Let me rename with the password. Send. I'm a admin user. Now, every time when you run your application, we are providing random password. But instead of that, okay, in my application, I want to configure my own username and password. This is called a default username and password. Later on time, how to create dynamic users, I will explain. Just to see here. Spring dot security dot user dot name equals to, okay, I can say Java Express is my username. Spring dot security. Only disadvantage of using intelligent community edition, whatever, whenever I am typing, you will not get auto suggestions in a IDE. That is the only ultimate edition, only commercial product only you will get suggestions. So that's why but in Spring Security we will never use much about property file, so everything on classes only. That's why I recommended to use this approach. Okay, now let me provide the password. I can use any password. Maybe I can give as a Krishna. Suppose let me provide username and password both Krishna and Krishna. Okay, so that whenever you start the application, you will not get generated security password is disabled automatically once you are overridden. See here, let me stop the application. Now again I am running this application. Make sure use 3.1.11. If you use 3.2.56, it may change other things as well, guys. Till now I tested on this version. Future we need to test latest version as well. Now see, my application is started on 8080. Guys, just 1 minute. Yeah, sorry. If you are able to see in the logs, if you see, will secure any request. See, default security filter chain. This is a class, it is invoked here in the parallel, some method is executed here. Now your application is started. There is nothing, logs are generated. Now go to your Postman collection. Now just hit this API 401. Okay, now Krishna, 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 and same password, send. See, I'm a admin user, no normal user. Normal user. If it is a public user, see, no password is required. But if you trying to provide authentication for this guy, when even though no security, if you are trying to provide, then you will see 200. Okay, nothing will be. Why? Because permit all method is available, so it will ignore about the security, anything anyone can access. Normally, if you open Facebook, Amazon, e-commerce, to place an order or something, first you need a registration. Registration is a anyone can access, but logged in user only can order a product. Even if you're adding to the cart, place an order, at end of the page it will be okay. What it will be do, it will be ask to the login. There is no anonymous order in any website. Clear? This is about overriding security with your own username and password. Okay, in the next session we'll discuss about how to create our own multiple users, okay, by using in-memory authentication from database, how to provide, and then we'll discuss about the authorization here or back access control. Okay, so by today I can say that these two things are done: securing Spring Boot using Spring Security, configuring static credentials inside .yml file, and authenticate the request, permit the request. Deny means every request will be denied. Instead of the permit all, we have a deny method. Anyway, we'll be see. Next session we'll discuss about the managing the users inside our application. That is the next session. I will take on the Monday, not Saturday and Sunday. As you please do set up, please make sure try to complete day 1 and day 2. We'll freshly start from the Monday, guys. Okay, that is all about today's session. Any questions? I will upload the session by today, and will provide whatever we typed in the classroom. This information I will share you. There is no much source code to provide. Directly you can create your project. Clear? Any questions?
Just provide these notes.
Yeah, definitely. These notes will be provided. You will get a Google Drive link where you can get these notes. Our admin team will send you to your email ID. Okay. Can I know good name 8958? Some logged in with mobile number. I'm not sure who is that person. Your good name, please. Someone logged with mobile number. I'm not sure. Yeah. Okay, guys. Thank you. Then we'll catch up on Monday. Thank you, guys. Bye bye.